So my name is John Finch. I'm the founder and creator of The Father Effect. It's a book and a movie, and it just tells my story of growing up without a dad and the impact, the strong impact that it had on me not having a father around. So, what that means to a little boy who needs to have a rite of passage to have the affirmation and the confirmation spoken into his life, and to not have that, I share my story of what that looks like. And so, in starting the ministry, and now we have a book and a movie, God's just really blessed us with the opportunity to share the story and the encouragement and inspiration that comes with the many interviews that we did and the many people that were able to really share their own stories of forgiveness and the really life-changing power of that forgiveness. So Bigger and Ball, I love the idea and what Will's come up with just understanding that for a coach, it's so much bigger than the sport itself. And me as a young kid, I had guys that stepped in that gap when I didn't have a father, and those guys were typically coaches. And the lifelong impact that they had on me, just in those moments of interaction with me, was really, really powerful in my life. And so, for coaches to understand that a lot of their players don't have fathers, and to understand the power that they have in their players' lives and their student athletes' lives, I think that's really, really important, because for so many of those students, that may be the only father figure they have. Growing up, I had this one coach, Coach Lineweaver, and he was probably the most impactful coach I had, in the sense that I think he read in me and knew that I didn't have a father, and knew that he really needed to push me to get the very best out of me. And there was just certain ways that he did that I think without him knowing and having that knowledge of me not having a dad, I don't know that he would have been able to get the best out of me. And so again, it goes back to that coach really knowing the player and knowing their history and their background, and being able to better support and encourage that kid based on the knowledge that they have of their family situation. When I came to that crossroads in my life, and God really took me to this place of brokenness, He made me very much aware of the epidemic that was fatherlessness and absent fathers. And so as I began to share my story more and more, I came to understand that there was this incredible amount of people that had their own stories about their father's impact on their lives, whether it be good or bad. And so I came to really understand the significant and lifelong impact that a dad has on a child. So as I began to share my story, it just became more and more evident that the stories I was hearing needed to get out to other men. And a big part of that was so that men understand and know we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to know it all. But as a community of men, that's how we're so much stronger, because we have this band of brothers, if you will. We're able to share the wisdom from all of our trials and tribulations and ultimately become better fathers. And seeing the impact that fatherlessness and absent fathers was having on other people really made me inspired to get the stories out that I was hearing for so many people, so that other men knew they weren't alone. Finding one's purpose is, I think there was a saying at one point that the two greatest days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find your purpose. And it really is true, because when you find your purpose, that gives you motivation for getting up every day. And I know for so many coaches, that is their purpose. The purpose is to make an impact on kids' lives on a daily basis. And so for us to walk in that daily awareness of our impact is so, so very important. For us to wake up every day and have the mindset of, what am I going to do today that is going to be impactful and a game changer in those people's lives that I'm responsible for. And so it's very important for us to have that and walk in that daily awareness of just the incredible influence we have, whether it be dads, coaches, Parents, whatever that might look like for you, it's important for us to be able to walk in that daily awareness and live literally in that daily awareness that we know and understand our purpose. So I think so many coaches and men in general get wrapped up in their identity and the identity of what they do for a living, when ultimately it's about identity and how we find our identity in God. That's what's most important. It's so hard, so difficult for the chaos of the day to get wrapped up in that and to get so caught up into it that we start to buy into it and we start to measure our own self-worth in what it is that we do. But it's very, very important for people to know and see and for us to truly believe that our identity is in Christ. And it's once we find that all the other stuff makes sense. It comes back into the purpose, because when we know where our identity is and what God's given us, the gifts that He's given us, it's so much easier then to know the purpose for which we were born. Our mission at the Father Effect is really to help men and women both come to find healing for their father wound and the life-changing power of forgiveness, and what God can do with that forgiveness to radically change their life in every way imaginable. As a man, as a husband, as a father, as a mom, as a daughter, as a wife, in all different aspects. But before I found forgiveness from my dad, my life was a wreck. I had bought into everything that the world says you need to be as a man. The success, the money, the power, all the crazy things. And once I found forgiveness from my dad, God just used that to change my desire, to change my want-tos, if you will. I no longer had a desire to drink, which was a big struggle of mine before this transformation. And so everything in my life kind of came together in a sense, so that then I could truly become the father and the man and the husband that God created me to be. The thing I like about Bigger Than Ball is this idea and the concept that everything they're doing with coaches is so much bigger than the game. It's so much bigger than the sport. And to understand and realize the true impact that coaches have on kids. I think most coaches probably get caught up in the daily grind and sometimes lose focus of what's most important, and really developing that young man with the life skills to go be the man they're created to be, or that young lady, and creating the skills that they need to go be a productive member of society, and know that there's so much bigger things, there are more important things than just ball, than the sport itself. Just life and God, and how God plays into that, and how God's purpose for their life can be imparted by a coach. A coach may be the only person that tells a young man or a young lady, I'm proud of you. The power of those words that can be instilled into a player or a student that they may never ever get at home. That's the power, the incredible lifelong power that coaches have.